white already has I wouldn't say an overwhelming advantage, but about to be one. This has been a remarkably successful Vienna, but I think the Vienna is a remarkably successful opening at 500 elo. The Vienna does come at you fast. All right, we have a new game here. I'm going to start with e4. Let's see what my opponent does and what opening you guys want to try. All right, e5. What do we think here? Vienna. Sure, I usually see a lot of Vienna suggestions. Let's play knight c3. People love the Vienna. Look at you guys. This is like a sugar rush for you. You love the Vienna. All right. f4. Now, when people take, they usually get a very bad position very quickly. I think this is just like a low elo killer, right? Takes and then e5. Now, all of a sudden, white already has I wouldn't say an overwhelming advantage, but about to be one. You know, you play this, and black has to understand that there are no available squares for the knight except the starting square. And that's a difficult, revelation to have. It's not that obvious. And that's not a nice move. That's like unfun, knight g8. So my opponent, to their credit, has found what I would always call a difficult move to play. A backwards knight move back to the starting square. It's just like rather depressing to play. So a very good move by my opponent. I mean that with sincerity. A lot of players would blunder the knight, just assuming that they had some safe square to go to. So knight back. Now the threat for black is kind of queen h4. If my opponent played queen e7 on the last move, I would just play queen e2. And we have the exact same problem. He plays there, I play there, we just match each other. The exact same thing is the case. Now he has to move back again. So that wouldn't have helped him. But anyway, in this position, queen h4 is definitely the move, right? Because this is like a king's gambit. Queen h4, I'm gonna have to play g3. Like, that doesn't feel very good. So I'm definitely gonna start with knight f3. And I'm going to follow up with d4. But I like knight f3 just because I want to deal with that. Now something like d4. Ooh, well, I do not get a good feeling about the move f6. Like, my opponent is thinking if I take, he takes. And he's correct. But if I don't, then this move hasn't actually done that much for your position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play d4. I want to get my bishop out. I want to take this pawn. I mean, I've got the whole center here. I think this is just a nice way to continue. Bishop out to b4. Okay, I love bishop takes f4. It's taking a pawn and also guarding that. I'm not scared of these double pawns, but I would wager that the most important move that I could play in this position probably has to do with getting this bishop out. That's a really nice diagonal, and so is that one. But let's have a think here. Yeah, I will play this. I think bishop f4 is good. Take a pawn, develop a piece, keep it simple. Next, we want to push this, and oh, look, someone's committed. He really, really wants me to take him. I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. All right, let's go to d3. I just think if I take him, that's what he wants. Like, he wants to develop the knight. He wants to take with the bishop, whatever. If I force him to take, then I'm going to end up with a knight or something in the middle, which I think is pretty good. Okay, I see the move knight e7. To me, all I see is a concession. He wants the knight to go to f6. That's why he played f6 himself. So now that he's played this, now is the perfect moment to take. and we castle. Get out of the pin. I'm not gonna bother like there might be great moves here. Knight h4, I don't know, but castling is just such a clear move in the opening. Good principle to follow. It can't be upset. Just getting castled. It'll never be a bad move. All right, bishop g4, pinning the knight, which is a little bit annoying. But this pin over here is not really, it's not happening anymore, right? There's not really any threat there. So I'm considering moving this knight, like knight e4, for example. I'm also definitely thinking about h3. h3 gives me a good tingly feeling inside. I'm a big h3 guy. Maybe let's do a little bit of both. Let's do h3 and then knight e4. I like it. I like it. Okay, I think I had the right idea with h3. I knew it had a good feeling for some reason. I mean, I guess if we were playing, you know, the first one to check a white king on g1 with a black rook on g8 game, then he would win. But that's maybe about it. This has been a remarkably successful Vienna, but I think the Vienna is a remarkably successful opening at 500 elo. King d7. Now, surprisingly, I actually don't think that move is as bad as it looks. It definitely does not look like a good move, but king in the center of the board was probably going to be getting mated, so yeah, I actually think that was okay. If knight d4, I'm kind of looking at knight d5, which hits the bishop and guards the pawn, so that's why I'm hesitant with knight e4. Other moves, though. I think he wants to go here. And I'm a little attracted to a move like this. Just trying to clamp down on some squares. Because if he gets to play this move, then if I ever play that, he goes knight e5. So strangely, I'm going to play the move d5 here. Because now I feel like I'm setting myself up for this. Potential bishop f5 in the future. Yeah, not easy to play for him. What he should do is probably move this and then start moving the king laterally, but that's not always the easiest conclusion to arrive at. I think queen e2 is gotta be a pretty good move. Clear intentions. So yeah, this move is above and beyond what you should be doing. But there are a number of other moves to consider. Even moving the queen would be nice because then the king has a square. But my opponent finds what I would say is the best move, c6. So that's a very, very good move by black. Now I have a couple options. Knight e4 looks tremendous. So does queen e6. But I'm not sure that I like the idea of displacing the king for him. So I'm probably going to start like this. The only thing is then knight takes d5, knight takes. Yeah, I guess that's like actually a very likely mistake that I don't know, I might walk into. Knight d5 looks like a very good move. But takes actually just gets mated with bishops. Another good move, and the reason I like these moves he's playing is because it's giving his king breathing room. With the queen and pawn there was ways that he would just get mated. So this covers the pawn, maybe sets up something like that. I really like what he's done the last couple moves. I think it's definitely time to take this. We really need to start using the D file. Question is how? Queen here, the king has some squares to go to. This one is covered at the moment, even though it's still playable, it is covered. I think this is always a good one to start with. Pawn takes here opens things up, which I think is a good start. He goes king e8. That's a little bit different. Well, I mean, d6 is a very good move. Queen here, we always have an answer, which is rook to g1. But I'm also trying to anticipate what his next move might be. And I assume it's queen g7, so yeah, it could be nice to have something ready for that. I think rook e1 should be at least considered. Rook e1, pawn takes here. I think I like the look of rook e1 the most. And the reason is, like, against pawn takes or queen here, I think my intention is queen check, which will kind of force the king to go there because now the knight is pinned. Now the knight is pinned. So knight can't take. I mean, queen here, check, and well, I mean, this move makes this move look genius. It was a good move anyway, but that helps. But some of the sample lines, for example, I thought were rook here. If queen g7, which looks very lethal, then I thought check, check, right? And then I have another check, check, and checkmate. And after king there, the other one that I thought was available was with knight e5 and bishop h6. So rook e1, pawn takes here, for example, check here, and then some sort of like check, cover that square. So this square is covered, that square is covered, right? The knight has to give itself up, and then there will be mates all over the place here, for example. I think those were the intentions. I mean, we can look at the game review and see here. The Vienna is really a killer early on, I think, in your rating progress, because f4 is so expected, right? To take. Everyone wants to take. And then after e5, you're just in this position, which is already preferable for white. Kind of annoying. Very annoying, actually. So we just kept it simple here. And we took as soon as the knight moved. Now we take. And, you know, there are many moves here, but I just think castling is so simple. So the game was done from there. But the Vienna is a type of opening where after f4, if you look at the book move, it's d5. If you don't know that the move is d5, how are you going to all of a sudden play d5? Like, how are you going to just find it? How are you randomly just going to, like, play d5? Who's going to come up with this on the board? I mean, this is, like, impossible. you have to know about it, which is fine. Everybody like needs a learning experience, but I think unless someone kind of informs you, hey, d5 is the move there, by the way. You're not just gonna randomly start playing it. Which is why everybody plays pawn takes and gets into big trouble. What do you do against this if not d5? Even d6 is not a very good move. And then pawn takes is no better. So the only move is d5. d5 is a must play. And after d5, you can see black is doing totally fine, which is why the Vienna, I mean, of course you can still play, but it's not that good. The Vienna does come at you fast, honestly, Cthulhu.